Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Wanted to do a quick video on the differences between a long arm fan graphite and an 89 Masami. We did a comparison video yesterday between the two fan graphite versions as far as the FR01 standard and the FR02 long arm. And then the question was asked, what's the difference between a long arm and the Masami? So we'll bring that here to you today because there are quite a few differences even though they look fairly similar. So, well, let's get the bodies off here. Got So we're not going to talk about the differences of materials, carbon versus aluminum versus FRP, what have you. So the very first thing you will notice is on the front end. The long arm versions, no matter if it's a fan or like A&L composite craft, what have you, they use a 10T front bulkhead and longer arms. Like I said, the outside components are the same, and that is the same for the Masami. But the Masami, the arms are different. The front bulkhead is different. It is, you can see it's much thinner between the two pivot points versus the long arm. Obviously the upper deck's real similar, but still a little bit different in there. As well, shock tower configuration is different. So a really kind of shrunken down or extended, almost B3, B2 shock tower on the front of the long arm versus just kind of a straight one-off shock tower that you get on the Masami on there as well. So when you compare the two fronts, you can see obviously there is a much, I wouldn't say much narrower, but it is significantly narrower on the Masami than on the fan graphite. On the long arms, you can use a standard Worlds steering setup like we have on ours, which allows you to run like the J Concepts. The servo is further back. On the Masami, that is not the case. The servo is further forward. It uses a different bell crank system. The arm attaches on the very outside versus on a World setup where it attaches to the inside. There's just not room for that on the Masami. So your steering setup is also a little different, and then obviously your tie rods are going to be a little bit longer for that offset as well because your bell cranks are much closer than what you have on a fan graphite. On the interior layout, it's really similar as far as, the batteries. On this layout, we did a little different. We added some stuff just to have a shorty LiPo in the back. On the Masami, put all of our receiver and stuff in the back. On this one, traditional on the outside. When it gets to the rear bulkheads are different, obviously. So the rear bulkhead on the Masami is shaved down, and it's not as kind of square as you get on a traditional bulkhead on a long arm. So now that we're in the rear end, you can see by comparison, the bulkheads are definitely different on those. The arms are different. So the arms are longer on the Masami. It uses a different inner pivot as well. And also, which I thought was kind of different, but I didn't notice it until I actually tried doing it, is I didn't like the gold motor plate. So I was just going to put a black kind of motor plate in the back on the Masami, but indeed the motor plates are even different in the back, or motor guards are different in the back. The motor plates are the same, so you can use the J Concepts or what on the Masami. Same on the fan graphite. They obviously both take stealth transmissions as well, but the arms, the rear of the chassis is definitely different as well. You get a little bit narrower. It's slightly narrower, but it is definitely narrower. And then, like I said, the motor plate guard is different. The arms are different. And so, quite some subtle differences. Like I said, they look the same, but there's enough there that it is different. I don't know if the shock towers are the same. I don't think they are. I think the Masami ones are a little bit wider than what you get on a traditional. But those are the differences. just a quick rundown between those Fan Graphite versus a Masami edition. And I know people are going to ask, unfortunately, we have not raced our Masami edition yet. So we may do that one of these days. We're trying to get through all of our cars and all of our builds. And right now, I'm concentrating on all those pieces there. I should have some more pieces today for that to get our Yokomo 91 works. But on the two-wheel drive front, yeah, we may have to run the Masami. We're going to have to do some different front springs. The black ones, they're pretty soft, and B, they're kind of long. So I'm going to try to find... I do have some green springs, I think, for this, because green springs seem to be the ticket at more on almost all of our RC10s. Obviously have that on our long arm, have it on our Fan Graphite, and we may stick with that. We got green springs on the back here, and I do have some, I believe, for the front. So we'll look through those, get maybe some springs on that so we can get our ride height set a little bit. This thing is kind of riding tall. We gotta get her down to, boom, about right there. So those are the differences between a Fan Graphite and the Masami. Now, I know the Masami's on sale. It's already sold out on AMA, and I don't know if anyone else has deals on them, but I think they were $279 or $280. That was kind of a sweet deal, I have to admit. And this is fairly good quality. I did use no-coast standoffs. I believe, like, I'm using an all... Oh, no, these came with the Masami kit. I have no-coast standoffs on my long arm. But I know some guys were complaining because there's no rear toe on this, so getting either rear hubs that have like 1.5 degrees of toe, or I know some guys are 3D printing some inner pivots, mounts that have 1.5 or 3 degrees of toe, which would definitely help out quite a bit on this. On our Fan, we have 1.5 degrees on that, so we're gonna, I don't know when we'll raise this thing. Soon. We're going to do some refreshing of all of our squads. So a lot of cars went out the door. A lot of cars are coming in. There's another 10T project or T3 project coming. So I'm kind of looking at stuff for that. So those are the differences. Performance-wise, I don't know how far apart they're going to be. If you get a good deal on Masami, I would get it. The fans I saw were sold out today, at least on Go Fast Hobbies. And I don't think they were even on sale. They might have had a 10% discount code. I think they sent out to customers, but at $370, not a bad deal on that one as well. So those are the differences. Buy what you like and race it. So again, like, comment, subscribe right down below, and we'll see you guys on the next one.